Alright boys, so we finally made it. We're making the neon guide now. We've made the jet guide, we made the raise guide, and we're here with the neon guide. Now, if you don't know who I am Immortal 3 Duelist main. I've been playing jet and raise since the start, and then ever since neon came out, played quite a lot of neon. So I kind of know what I'm talking about with this, and yeah, we'll just hop straight into it and we'll just learn everything about the agent. It's going to be in-depth, so might be a little bit of a longer video, but yeah. So stick around and you'll probably learn a load of things that you didn't know before about neon, so yeah, let's just go. Alright, so real quick before we get into it, 85% of you aren't subbed, so if you like watching my content, you want to help me out, please hit the sub button below, and yeah, let's just go. Alright, real quick, we're gonna just go over all of her abilities, just everything. We'll talk about a couple of combos and stuff you can do with there, but yeah, we'll just go over these real quick. So, the first ability here you've got is the fast lane. Just a double wall here. It's pretty simple ability, but you can use it in so many different ways. Like, you can use it as a distraction just to make the enemy think you're gonna push something, but you're actually just holding inside the wall. So, the only thing you have to remember with this is you need to aim it upwards. Like, if you just do this, it won't go over the building, but if you aim it up here, it'll go on top of the building. That's the only real mechanic with this. Like, you'll see here, like, if I aim here, it will just stop, whereas if I aim up, it will go, and it'll keep going over stuff. It's the only thing about it that's, like, complicated. Other than that, you kind of use this just to entry, you combo it with your run, which we'll go over. You just combo it with this. What you can do, this is the thing about it that makes it very good. You have 3 different lanes here, so you can go at this one, you can go at this one, or you can go out here. You know what I mean? So what you can do is like this, and you can like run in between the wall. Or you could just run straight up. But that's the fast lane. We'll go over that more in the other sections. Then you have the stun. Everyone, you know, this is like the thing that you're always dying to against the neon. The only thing about the stun that's crazy is the fact that it ricochets. And you can do, like, you don't need, people are like, oh, ricochet, lineups, Sova. No, you don't really use this for lineups. Like, you have, like, a general idea, but if you just know how it bounces, it'll cover a lot more area. Like, doing these complicated lineups on neon, probably not gonna happen. Like, when you're trying to, obviously she's an entry fragger, when you're trying to do that, you don't have time to set up these lineups and stuff, so usually gonna just ricochet it. Like, you can ricochet certain things, but if it's getting too complicated, you can always just jump peek. Ricochet it off the ground like that. That's your easy way. The only thing with this as well is if you aim it higher, it will stun the entire way down. So you can literally hit it off roofs and stuff like that. And it will stun this guy. But if you aim it low, it won't stun higher. Up here will not be stunned. So that's the only thing with that. And then her most important ability, the reason you really play neon, is the run. The run is neon. Neon's nothing without her run. And the thing, this ability can get very complicated, to be honest. I'm gonna have a short section all about the run and everything you can do with it, but for now, all you need to know is you can slide with it, you can slide backwards with it, you can slide to the left with it. Just reset. You can slide to the left with it. Left and right is going to be your most useful slides. And the way you slide is obviously just right click. And a lot of the time you're going to be bunny hopping with this. So if you don't know how to bunny hop, I do have a movement guide tutorial. So you can check that out on my channel. And yeah, bunny hopping is so important with this ability. Like, if you're not bunny hopping with, you're not really using it properly. Like, if you're just running like this, it's not good. You're very, very easy to hit. Whereas if you're doing this, you're not very easy to hit. You could also do it backwards. But that's a little bit, can be a little bit complicated. And not the most useful. The most useful is just being able to bunny hop like this. And yeah, it's very, very hard to hit you. And then just the ultimate. The ultimate, after this last buff it got, is actually really strong. So you can see how fast you can melt here if you hit in the head. Like, it is doing a lot of damage. You see how quick they die? They buffed the range on this, and they buffed the damage to the head, and now it's 3 times. So you can go pop, pop. Yeah, you're 3 taps now to the head, which is nuts. Like, this thing is actually like so strong now after that buff. And yeah, you can run fully with this, run accurately. It's obviously a beam, so if you're good at tracking, it helps quite a lot. You'll be able to just track heads and just melt people. Alright, so one thing as well here with the ultimate, or two things actually, is your ultimate will completely refresh your meter down at the bottom here, your run meter. So if you, like, if you're empty on energy like this, just ulting will straight up give it back to you. And the other thing it will do is it will refresh your slide, like, just straight up. So what you can do is you can ult and double slide like that. You can see I don't have infinite abilities on here. You can just double slide like that. So you can run, slide, and then ult, and then slide again. Pretty strong for everything, you know? You get 2 slides. It's a freebie. You might as well use it for most of the time. And yeah, that's all our abilities, so we'll just move on. Alright, so why play Neon? You know, who's Neon for? What scenarios should you pick her? Neon is, like, very, very versatile duelist. She's got on every map, I would say. There's no map where it's like, ooh, I don't really like Neon here. Like, she's pretty good on every map. Like, the larger map, she's pretty good, because you can close that space so well. And the shorter map, she's very good, because their stun gets so much value. So she's pretty versatile. If you like high skill cap characters, where you, like, can just... It will scale with your skill, if you know what I mean? Compared to someone like Brimstone or something, where it's like... Yeah, the best Brimstone in the world, I don't know who that is. It's probably the best controller in the world. It doesn't really matter. Whereas, like, the best Neon in the world, it's like, oh, that's some fancy tech, you know? That's, like, you can tell that they're very good at their agent. So if you like that, and you like playing characters like that, you know, Raze is another good one like that. Jet can be another good one like that. Stuff like that, where it's just scales with you, and it can definitely scale up the ranks. It doesn't fall off. Then Neon is definitely for you. If you like movement, you like jumping around the place, you think it's fun, you know, Neon's definitely for you. If you just like an aggressive entry fragger where you can just hard get on site and just super fast, just mobility is this agent. Like, it's all it is. Its entire strength is the fact that it has this run and just how fast you are. So if you like that type of character, then Neon's completely for you. Very similar playstyle to something like Raze. So if you're like a Raze main, I know a lot of my subs are Raze mains. If you're a Raze main, Neon's a great second character to play. Because the playstyle is very similar, and it's also just really fun. So yeah. Alright, so what is your role as Neon on attack? Your role is to just entry frag and take space for your teammates. Now what that entails is literally using all your abilities to either get a site or to just take space. And like, people are like, always think that duelists like make space, and they kind of do, but the real strength is utilizing like your initiators or your other teammates to help you and take space. So like, let's say on Fracture here, I'm just going over Fracture because it's Neon's best map, so we'll just use that as a baseline. For Fracture here, you know, like you'll have the breach stun here, and that breach stun does nothing really, unless you run up behind this breach stun and take the space, you know what I mean? That's what your role really is. It's to take that space very quickly. This is why all the mobility duelists are so strong, like Jet, Raze, and Neon, compared to some of the other duelists who only have like flashes and stuff. That's why that's their problem really. But that's what you want to do. You want to use your teammates to take that space that they kind of make. And if your teammate, this is the beautiful thing about Neon, if your teammates aren't making that space for you, you could do the same thing with your own stun and just stun this, and then you can take it yourself. Which that's why agents like this are so good in solo queue, because you can really just do it yourself if your teammates aren't doing it. If they are doing it, that's perfect, but if they're not doing it, you can do it yourself. So yeah, like your job here, your job as the Neon is, let's say just on B site here, whatever, it works on every site, same thing. You want to get the bomb down. You want to get the site here. Whether you die or not, it doesn't matter as long as your job is fulfilled. Like, you want to come and you want to take this site and get rid of everyone off it. Doesn't matter if you kill them, it's getting them off the site and getting the bomb down and playing post plant. That is your job. Your job is not to just run CT and just try and farm kills. Like, it can work sometimes, yes, but it's risky. You don't have to. Like, if you have a really good timing on pushing up, let's say, like, you know, you put a wall up like this and there's nobody here and you can just run up CT and just grab kills like this. That is good sometimes. But you gotta remember, you have just left this entire site here for your teammates And if you only, like, let's say you're solo duelist, a lot of the time now in this meta, you are solo duelist. Like, you're leaving your teammates to just clear this site on their own. And you know, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't trust them. I would not trust them to do that. They're obviously gonna complain again. If you pop off from doing that play, it's good, but are you always gonna pop off? Maybe not. So your job here is to all just about taking this site. Let's say you can do something like this. It's like an entry path. I'll do that again quicker. So like here on B site, what I would do is wall up like this. I would stun this box. I would stun here. And then I would slide out and not stun myself because that's stupid. But you know what I mean? The premise is there. Like, you want to use these stuns. You can just blow all your utility, by the way, on this entry. Because this is all that matters for you. It's about just getting this site and being able to just play this post plan. That's literally I know I've said it so many times, but that is your job. That's what you want to be doing. And sometimes you don't even have to do this. Let's say on a map like Fracture, right? Or any map, really. If you're not rushing every round, like, you know, the enemies are countering your rushes, they have a lot of stuff to stop you. That's fine. You can, let's say you're over here, or at like any part of any map, really, like, just really highly, like, good areas to take. Like dish here. Like, you can start the round, sit here and stun this. And you'll slide out. Let me do that again. That was really bad, really bad. Do this, jump around like this, slide out and take this space. Now you have dish control, you know? It's all about just taking that space, and whether you are going to even attack A or not, you're in this position, which puts pressure on them. So it's all about pressure. It's all about chaos too. Chaos is another big one. This is why Neon's kit is very good. Like, you can just spam stuff and just try and create chaos, because you're a duelist. Like, chaos is good for you, because if the enemies are able to play slow and steady, it's not too good for you, because then they can just wait and use all their utility, where you are an explosive duelist, so you really want to pop out and just cause chaos.
Go, go, go.
So if you can just run out then and start taking this site again, boom, that's your job fulfilled for attack. For post plan, a lot of times you won't be alive, realistically. Neon, like, if you don't like dying and you're annoyed after you die, Neon is probably not the agent for you. I think this agent has like the lowest KD in the game, because of just the playstyle of it.
I'm out of here.
But I also think a lot of people overextend on Neon, and this is a big problem for Neon players. Like, you'll sit here and you'll do this, right? You'll take that site and you'll go crazy, right? Let's say you're even ulting here, right? You stun this, you go crazy. You pop up like this, you like kill this guy, you put your wall up, you run out, slide in, you kill this guy, and then you start pushing CT. And then you do this, and boom, you just died. You got one tap, let's say. You know, the chamber over here, and they all have the best aim in the world, and he one taps you, right? And one of your other teammates might have died on this entry. And now you just turned like a 4v3 into a 3v3, and you put it completely up to your teammates. And this is why people complain about their bad teammates. Like, you made a bad play here by over pushing, right? You're already up in numbers, you don't need to. If you were, let's say there's 2 of your teammates alive, and you've done this same thing, and there's 3 enemies alive, or even 4, I would do this 100% of the time. But if you're already up in numbers like that, there's no reason for you to, like, push here, you know what I mean? It's just overheating. You're going too hard. You could literally sit on site here with your ult, you know, and just, like, jiggle angles like this. And it's the thing about Neon ult. You can pre-fire people like this. It's very good. Like, you don't need to keep pushing. That's the one major problem people have with this character. Like, they just want to keep going and like, yes, yes, more, more, more. And then they die. Now you're useless, you know? Like, your debt wasn't even good. Unless your teammate trades you there, your debt was useless. And that's the thing always happens about this character. You go too fast. You gotta remember, you know how fast you are on Neon, right? You gotta remember that if your teammates aren't there and you die, your debt was a lot of the time useless. Like, if they're not trading you, unless you got some really good information, like you spotted 5 people here and you're like, they're 5 stacking, go back, like, your debt was kind of useless. So you got to be very, very aware of overheating on this character, and just notice, like you're gonna feed on this character, right? We all know you're gonna feed. Everyone knows you're gonna feed, but it's about learning from your feeding, right? Use that feeding, as long as you're using it to learn, and for the next game, maybe you don't go as aggressive, you know? Or maybe you're playing too passive and you need to learn from that as well. You just gotta learn from these mistakes and learn from all this feeding, right? Because the best way to learn is to feed your brains out. And you can quote me on that. If you feed your brains out, but you're not just inting, you're learning from it, who cares, man? You're gonna improve in the long run, and that's all that matters. So yeah, we'll go over defense now, because defense can be very complicated on this character. Alright, so what is your role on defense? Your role on defense, a lot of people do get confused because, like, they're like, oh, is this agent not useless on defense? Because I just want to push with it, right? But you have very good stalling power with your stuns, to be honest. Like, even, we're just going to go over completely, just playing normal here. Just, let's say you're playing default box here. I wouldn't recommend anchoring on Neon, because you can rotate very fast, but just for the sake of saying, let's say you're just playing an anchor role here, like, you can stun the choke, and the enemies, like, if they try and enter in this, like, you get free kills. You know what I mean? Like, you can just stun chokes, and boom, you're doing pretty good. Kind of similar to, like, a raise nade, but it doesn't kill them. Like, you have to actually peek off the stun. And a lot of times, like, let's say this will be smoked, and you hear something go on. You hear something happening, you stun the choke, the enemies can't enter, like, for that amount of time. And then you can do it again. You got two of them, like, you can just stun the choke if you want. Obviously, it's not optimal, but it is there. The best way to play this character is to take space on defense. People are so afraid, they're like, there's no need to push on defense. We are gonna die if we push on defense. We are defending, you know, whatever this bullshit is, but taking space on defense can be so strong. And this is where your teammates again come in so good. Like, if you have a breach, let's say, you have a breach and he's stunning like arcade over here, just for the sake, right? Obviously you can do this anywhere, let's say like B main, on Ascent, you know, on Bind you can do this as well, like showers, anything like that. Like, your breach stuns for you, and then you run, slide out, boom. Take that space, and now you have pressure. Now you have two options, right? Let's say, like, you fight this, and you get a kill here, right? You have two options now. You can either quick flank, if you think the enemies are over towards this way, or you can hold their flank. Kind of like, just, let's say the enemy have pressure here, right? The enemy are kind of here. You can hold this, and make it so the enemies can't rotate. Like, they're not allowed to go B, essentially. Or you can just go for that really quick flank and just try and kill them in the back. They're your two options for after you get the push. But either way, you get so much information from doing this. Let's say you see nobody here, right? Let's say you go for this play, right? Here, I'd say it really is good. Most of the time, you do have a breach on this map, so if you have a breach, always ask him to do this for you. But let's say, you know, you slide out here and you spot nobody. That is so much information for you. Like, you know now, it's like, okay, they're either all B main or they're all A main. You know what I mean? That's so much valuable information for you. Like, you can make plays off that. If you want, even, you could run back. Let's say the enemy start pushing here. You can just run straight back here and rotate over to the other site for your teammates. Now, that's the other thing that Neon is very good at. You can play the quick rotator so effectively, especially on some of the larger maps, like Breeze is a good one, Icebox, this map, just any map where you can, where like, every map you want to rotate, but let's say the enemies, they're playing very fast every round, right? They're just rushing. What you can do is you can play like a position near your spawn, and then the enemy contact on A, and you just run over. Right? And then you're here. Boom, just like that. It's so quick. So it feels like you're stacking every round. And that's just that's so good. And if you have your ultimate, by the way, it does refresh your energy, so you can just come out here and start going crazy. Popping the util. Just so good there. But they are like the big things for defense is don't be afraid to push the enemy. Now, if you do push this, right? If you do push this and you see breach stun, right? And then you like go for your kill and then you spot 4 guys, it's okay to run back. There's no shame in it. Like, you don't need to get a 4K here to carry the game. If you spot 4 of them, just come back and then start playing. You can ask your breach to flash maybe. Like, if he's still here, and then boom, you can try and take that fight. But if there's 4 there, there's no need to 1v4, you know? Just pull it back, play off your teammates. That's a big thing. Like, you can give it up, it's fine. Another play, by the way, I like on this map specifically, I'll give you a little bit of a freebie here, is I like getting somebody to stun here from me, putting a wall up like this, and just running underneath, and just killing everybody here. You get such a quick flank on him, but it's just a cheeky one for Fracture there. Yeah, that's pretty much everything for defense here. Like, it's all about that push, it's all about that rotate, and it's all about the stuns in the chokes. They're very strong for you. So yeah. Alright, so I'm just gonna go over the, what's it called, the high gear here. The run, the slide, you know what I'm talking about. Now, the slide, this is a very, like, the slide and the run can get, they're very skill expressive abilities. They're one of, like, the best for Neon here. And the couple things you can do, right, the first thing I'm gonna mention is, let's say, right, you're like this and you're rotating, then you run, right? See the way I have my knife out? Never, ever, never, ever, never, ever, never run, or have knife out before you run. Every time you want to run, swap to your primary and then go. Because the animation here, like let's say I slide out like this and then I swap, very long, right? Very long. Whereas if I slide out like this, straight away I can shoot my gun, right? That's the first thing I have to say, like that is the most important one. The second is, bunny hopping is just overpowered with this. So instead of, like, if you're just running around like this, right? You're just running in a straight line. Let's say without the ultimate here. Like, you're just running like this. You are very, very easy to kill. If you're ever caught like this, you will just die, right? Whereas if you're bunny hopping, clearly a much harder target to hit, right? You're trying to, like, track her in the air, you know? Like, it's like, oh, she's so fast, how do I hit her? Whereas if they're running in a straight line, you just kind of pop them, right? So if you don't know how to B-hop, I told you already, the movement guide on my channel is there. But it's pretty simple, you just kind of jump around the place, right? Jumping around, like, bunny hopping is so important with this character. It's the only, like, this character and Raze are the two where I'd say knowing how to bunny hop is very strong. Good place to practice all this, by the way, all the, like, running around, is just on Icebox here. You can just hop on Icebox and just jump around the place, you know? You can see I'm even fucking it up here. Jumping around the place. Just fly around, just practice stuff, jump around. Easy way to try and improve it. But that's the bunny hopping for the run. And the slide, you can go in any direction. You can go like upwards and forwards, like this. You can go to the left. You can go backwards, but you can't just walk backwards, right? You see, I can't slide right now. If you jump and then tap S before you land, you can go backwards. And this one's a little bit harder. This is like less practical. You can press S at the very last second, and you'll slide backwards on the ground. Not very useful, to be honest with you. It's like best for like clearing a corner or something, but even then it's probably better to do this. The jumping slide's just more consistent. You know what I mean? So the actual backward slide, you don't really need to learn it. Whereas the jumping one can be useful to like clear corners or something, but even then you're probably better off just like jumping in like that, you know what I mean? But it's there anyway. You might find it for a random scenario you need it. So yeah, one of the best ways to use this ability just in your everyday scenarios is to kind of use it like a satchel peek. So if you play Raze, this is one of the reasons they're similar. Like, let's say you have a guy holding here, right? You can just slide out and just pop him, right? Now you got your Vandal. Boom, he's dead, right? So your best ways to use it, you can also, let's say he's stuck in this corner. Boom. And one of the reasons the Spectre is so good with this agent is because you can just Ferrari pick people, right? You just fuck them up. They can't really do much about it. So yeah, they're like all the ways you can use the satchel. Sliding in a straight line is a no-go, right? So let's say you have a guy here, right? And you just like, let's say you're ulting just for a second, and you just slide at him like that. That is a no. That is a no. This is why when they changed the slide a while ago, like you used to only be able to slide forwards. But like you know, if you're running at someone, like your hitbox isn't really moving, it's just getting bigger, right? This is why you're getting one-tapped all the time. So if you slide outwards like that, is much better. I always want to be sliding to the side, or like forward into the side at the very least. So you can just zap people down. That's the best ways to use the slide anyway. I might be forgetting something, but I don't feel like I am. That seems like everything for the slide. Alright, and lastly we're gonna go over pistol round and how to eco properly. So like, let's say you lose the pistol round for instance. So on pistol round, you can buy legit everything on this character. You've got like the classic, you know, you'll go probably classic double stun. Pretty strong buy overall. Like you've got everything. You've also got the armor for entry fragging, which is pretty good. Having that armor can be so nice, like just whenever you're entering, because obviously you have more HP. It's a bit of a no-brainer there. So you've got that buy. Then you've also got like a pistol stun or a ghost stun. Pretty strong. Like you've got everything you need really. Ghost is pretty strong. Like if you like the ghost, this is always a buy. You can also just go for a ghost and a fast lane here. If you have 2 initiators, maybe not a bad buy, you know, like, but yeah, like if you really need to get the sight, not a bad buy at all. Then you've got like Frenzy and the same stuff. You know, if you're a Frenzy gamer, like there's some crazy Frenzy players, like Jinggg is one of them. I don't know how, man. Some of these Frenzy gamers are nuts. Like it has, the Frenzy actually has the same damage as the Spectre if you look on the side there. Pretty much the same. Only like at range is it different. So yeah, it's like a mini Spectre on pistol round. Pretty crazy.
Go.
You just have to get kind of used to the recoil with the Frenzy. Then you can do the fast lane again. Obviously pretty good. Just go for a Sheriff if you want. Like you've got your main abilities here for free, which is your slide and your run. So you can just play Sheriff as well. Another great buy. Sheriff, if you're a demon, Sheriff is crazy. And you can even buy like a shorty if you want. Not bad, you know what I mean? There's no bad buys on this agent. Like you can do whatever is fitting. Have a plan before the pistol round and what you want to do, and buy the gun that's going to suit that plan. That's the only thing I can say really. And now we'll go over, if you let me swap team here so I'm on attack. If you lose the pistol round, right? Let's say you die. Boom, you used up all your credits and you died, right?
Kill them before they kill us.
What I would buy every time would be a Sheriff and a stun.
Oi, grab the spike.
That's pretty much my buy every time I lose pistol round. Why? Because you see there's a magic number here, 3350. This is enough to buy light armor and a Vandal on the next round, even if I get 0 kills, right? And yeah, or you can buy Phantom either, it doesn't matter. But you have enough to full buy next round, and you've also saved a stun here. I try not to use the stun during this pistol round unless I think it's winnable. Or not pistol round, but the eco round. I try to not use the stun unless I think we can win off it, you know what I mean? Like if I can guarantee get a free kill off the stun, I'm gonna use the stun. But if I don't think so, then I'll try not to use it. Now, obviously, you're gonna not have a full buy, because you won't have the fast lane, and you will probably have 1 stun if you used it on the pistol. But you lost pistol round. You have to take a risk, you know what I mean? I think this risk is worth it almost 100% of the time. The only thing that's going to shit on you is if the enemy are buying Guardians. Because the Guardian's got such a fast fire rate, and it will kill you with light armor to tune the body. But who the fuck buys a Guardian, man? I don't know. Not many people are buying Guardians, so I wouldn't be too worried. I would always do this. Even if you're like, oh, I'm not good with the Sheriff. You're never going to get good with the Sheriff if you don't buy the Sheriff, you know? So I think it's worth it. It will scale, like once you get better, you can just start winning these pistol rounds and getting these thrifties so easy. And if you don't want to buy the Sheriff, at least buy the Frenzy, because this gun is kind of overpowered for an eco round. Like, it is half the price of the Sheriff, and you can just run at people and just frenzy them down, you know? So at the minimum, I would buy something, even if it's a fucking shorty, man, like, and just run at people with it. I would always buy something. The classic, it's not what it used to be, you know? Like, you're not really nuking people with full armor anymore. The right click, it's gone through some nerfs. So I would always buy Sheriff, but Frenzy's another solid one. Never buy Ghost on this round. Like, the enemies have full armor, and it just takes, like, 1 in the head, 2 in the body. That is way too many shots. Like, they're probably gonna kill you if they have a Spectre. But Frenzy, pretty solid. Sheriff, pretty solid. Shorty, even if you want, especially on defense, it's not too bad. And yeah, same thing for defense. And if you win, we'll go ahead and if you win that pistol round, your money's gonna look something like this. If you got no kills, your money will look pretty much exactly like this. And I would just buy something like that. Just Spectre, I would always buy Spectre on this agent. It's just too good. Like, it suits the agent's playstyle too well. Like, just, you can run and gun people down. Maybe just end this, the thing's bugged. You can just run and gun people, like, it's very, very strong. The only other buys is, let me turn on this. The only other buys would be something like, buy, like, a Judge if you can try and afford it. Judge is pretty strong. This gun's kind of still broken. It always will be by the looks of it. You can buy a Bulldog, or you could just say, if you do get kills on pistol, you can just say fuck it and buy a Vandal with light armor. Obviously risky. Like, if you start playing aggressive with a Vandal or a Phantom, it's gonna be a very big risk if the enemy get it. But if you win that pistol round, or if you win that second round, your bonus round is crazy because you have a rifle. It's not even a bonus at that point, you know? It's just a full buy for you. But yeah, that's the main things. You can buy a Stinger, like, if you're feeling fucking dumb. I don't know, the Stinger's kind of a bad weapon at the moment. Marshall is also pretty decent. I think Marshall's just good in general against those smaller buys, you know? You can just take these duels. It's not the worst. Like, I don't think snipers are that bad with Neon. Even the op, if you're, I wouldn't, like, recommend learning the op if you want to play Neon, but if you already know how to op, it's not terrible, like, you know? Like, it's not awful. Like, let's say you were, like, a Jet main in the past and you used to op, or you're a Chamber main. Like, it's not a terrible option to buy the op. It's just not... I wouldn't learn it, like, I wouldn't go out of my way to learn it with Neon, you know? But if you know how to do it, it's there. And yeah, that should be pretty much everything. So, summary, you know, attack, it's all about taking that site and playing that post plant. It's all about taking that space. All that stuff. Defense, don't be afraid to get aggressive, but don't go too hard. That's the main thing with this agent, is don't go too hard, right? Remember that you're much faster than everyone on your team, so try and, like, pull yourself back if you notice that you're way further than everyone, and you won't get traded if you die. Overheating is just so big on this character, man. You're gonna... Let's be real here, you're all gonna do it. If you start learning this agent, you're gonna feed, man. It's just, it's in the nature of the character. You're gonna feed. But as long as you're learning from the feeding, who cares, man? It's all good. Yeah, on defense, don't be afraid to get aggressive. Don't be afraid to take space. Don't be afraid to play quick rotate if the enemy are just hitting a site over and over again. And pistol, Sheriff is your friend when you lose that pistol round. Sheriff is your friend on pretty much all ecos, or you could buy either of these two. They're pretty good. And yeah, that should be everything. So, thanks for watching, boys. I think we're done. So yeah, like, sub, all that stuff. Join the Discord as well. We got a crazy Discord right now. I'll leave the link in the description, and yeah, I'll see you later.